Hello traders, welcome to another trading week. I hope you guys had a great weekend and you were profitable in the last week. I was, and as a matter of fact, most of the predictions I made in the last video, price just went exactly as predicted. I'm going to be doing some kind of review in the course of today's presentation, so you guys know how we fare in the last week, and then also going to be making some kind of projections for the coming week. And so, yeah, just like I said, I'll be doing this weekly now, and I hope you guys find this very, very useful, very instrumental. I mean, you find it useful and instrumental. Feel free to like and share and comment. That's in that way you're supporting the growth of this channel, and then with that, you're able to also get good notification immediately this is posted. So you want to click that subscribe button so that you can get um, first time information immediately is posted. So um, in the last week, Aussie was stronger, towards the end of the trading section, and then USD was quite very weak, which was expected. If you remember in the last video weekly presentation that for last week, I predicted that USD is supposed to be weak. And then I think Audi for HOD or Aussie, because I was kind of very careful about whether it's going to be strong or weak. Let's even go to the chart immediately. I think I have them here. Yes, USD. So I'm going to bring out the period selection. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this was where price was as at that time that I made the last video. And I remember I drew this resistance line and let us know that price may most likely get to this point. So as I when it was getting to this point, I was expecting, maybe some kind of pullback a little before we then eventually go down. So it only got here and then pull up a little, and immediately I started seeing this kind of consolidation around this point. I already knew it is time for price for USD to most likely break below that structure. And for those of you guys that are going to be going to for coming for the training, these are some of the things I'll be explaining to you guys, which will help you to identify when the currency wants to be strong or wants to be weak, and then you can go to your chart on a daily basis to take trades. So now this is where we are right now. I'm just going to go to the higher time frame right here. Okay. Now let's go to the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame let us see exactly where we should get to. So it's looking more likely for USD, it's looking more likely that price is going to come to retest this zone, that area right there. That price is going to be retesting it. It's a very, very key support line, and I'm expecting that price will break out from there. When we get there, it will react when we get there, but it's looking more likely that we're going to be having a retest of that zone. And if you have been following up with this channel, you remember that I've already explained to you guys that price is the US is most likely going to be going weak for some time, and that's what it's currently doing. Initially, I had anticipated that we're going to be having some kind of diagonal structure, where price would sell from around this zone, but just as it is in Forex, sorry, pardon me for that. Just as it is in Forex, you can't correctly be able to predict exactly what price would do at every particular point in time. But then you can be able to guess what the overall price direction may be. So even though price had, broken out of this area for some time, I guess there was a news that happened during that period, maybe FOMC or thereabout, that supports the USD strength, that made this push up. But fundamentally speaking, and then relatively compared to other currency pairs in the world, US is not as strong as others. So which is why then you started having this bearish continuation, bearish direction. And we are most likely going to be coming back, to retest this zone and then coming all the way back to that support line. So my prediction currently right now, my prediction for the USD is still bearish, but we are going to be having some kind of bullish retracement very soon. So what I mean is this: look at what price did here when price broke beyond the support line. When it broke it, it came back to retest that area that it broke before it then eventually started going down. And so there's every tendency that that is what we're going to be having here soon too. So there's every tendency that price just come up a little to retest that same area that it broke and then continue downward. So in this case, we're going to be having lower highs and lower lows up to this level. So for me, fundamentally and technically speaking, USD is going to be strong a little, and then after that, continue the bearish movement. So I think I've already gotten the fundamental for this week. That's May 26 to 30. And then, which is why it is neutral to mild bullish, fundamentally speaking, neutral as at that time that we have that neutral, that is when price will be pushing up. And then after some time when the neutral is finished, then we are going to continue the bearish movement. And so the reason for that fundamentally is sub GDP and flat inflation reduce Fed hawkishness. So we are supposed to watch PCE data for confirmation. So there's going to be, I think there's going to be PCE data towards the end of, in the course of this coming week. There's an FOMC news on Wednesday around 7 p.m., which is what we want to really pay attention to as at that time. And then we also want to pay attention to unemployment claims. Those two key things, and also the core PCE right here, those ones will give you an idea of what to expect in terms of the strength for the USD in the coming week. But then, since by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before 7 p.m., there's not going to be any major news for surrounding the USD. There's every tendency that on Monday and Tuesday, that's when you're going to be having those push back on the USD, and then after that, coming to Wednesday in the expectation for FOMC minute news and all that, the weakness may then start showing up. So that's what we have for USD. So for USD, I'm just going to take this to my watch list. Fundamentally speaking, I'm expecting neutral to mild bearish, but the overall technical setup is bearish. For me, bearish. So yes, we know that it's going to first be neutral or bullish a little, then going bearish, but the overall price direction is bearish. So let's go to yen. For yen, I'm expecting price to be strong, but it will first be weak and then later on be strong. So let's go to yen. So for yen, if I take you back to history for yen pairs, let me take you back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as at that time, this was where yen was, and I remember I was telling you that there's every tendency that yen may most likely be strong, and you know this is inversely correlated. It's inversely correlated to the chart, so it means that when price is going down, yen is strong, and then when price is going up, yen is weak. But in the previous chart, I had anticipated that price will most likely first get here before it sells off. But it didn't even get there. I was expecting that, okay, price will first get to this point, coming to this first shoulder level, then selling off, then becoming strong. But that didn't happen. Price just, reacted around this area and then started, getting strong. That is, Japanese yen started getting strong. So this is where we are currently. If we go back to the previous video, you'll see exactly what my explanation is regarding that. So I was expecting a strong yen, and then I was expecting it. I remember saying that we expect it to get to this level. And that is where it is currently, and it's just reacting a little. So what we expect going forward from here, is quite simple. I'm just going to be drawing some lines around here, which are the previous resistance area where price got to and reversed. So what it means right there is that there's every tendency there's every tendency that we may be having an harmonic pattern, an harmonic formation, which has already which has already formed here anyway. There's an harmonic pattern here that has been formed. One, two, that has been formed initially in the course of the week, which was where price, eventually reacted to. It was where price reacted to. Let me just double this and then take this all the way down. Yeah, so something like this. So we have an harmonic pattern right here where price reacted to, and then is going to be forming a bigger picture harmonic pattern. The bigger picture harmonic pattern that I can see forming here is this right here, where price may most likely get to somewhere around here, or even somewhere around this resistance line. So what I'm saying in essence is this: you need to be paying attention to this zone. If price gets to somewhere around this zone, then you want to be looking out for a strong yen. So in the meantime, when USD is going to be strong, you expect that this will happen. That's yen may most likely be weak. So at that time, we expect to buy USD Japanese yen. And then after that, when price gets here and then we get our sell signal around this zone, then we are going to be selling US dollars Japanese yen. That is how I do my own trading. So for the direction, I will be going with neutral to mild bullish, neutral to strong bullish, not even mild, strong bullish. And then overall bias for me is that Japanese yen will be bullish. And then for CAD, so with that, we can go to look at US dollar Japanese yen. So I'll just come here for the US dollar Japanese yen. I do this on a daily basis where I come to put in my trade bias that I'm expecting for every single day. So on Monday, I think I will want to first buy US dollar Japanese yen. And then I think maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday, then I'll be looking forward to selling it. So so let's go to our chart. Our chart right here, US dollar Japanese yen. So this was what I was expecting when I think this was on Friday. So I was expecting that price must first pull back up and sell off from this break zone, or it's going to be selling, or you're going to continue the sell off from there. And it didn't even pull back at all. It just continued the sell off from there. But this is where I'm expecting price to get to. So if I'm going to be buying US dollars Japanese yen, I'll be willing to buy it around this area, which I'm going to be coloring green. Which I'm going to be coloring green right there. So when price gets here, I'm then going to be looking out to taking a sell trade. So I'm just going to update this. I'm just going to update this to to something like this. So this gives me an understanding of where to wait for price. And then after that, if price then bounce up from there, I'm expecting price to get to this area for a proper sell-off, proper sell continuation. But the overall price direction for me is most likely going to be this if USD becomes very, very weak. Remember, this is US dollar Japanese yen. So in the meantime, when US dollar when US dollar becomes strong, it may have this pushback. But after that, you should expect that price may most likely come all the way down to the initial support zone where we are going to be determining the next price action. So that's that for US dollars Japanese yen. The next one right there is going to be let me change this. So it's going to be CAD. So let's go to CAD. For CAD, what do we have on CAD? Okay, yeah, awesome. So I'm just going to first go back to history to let you guys see what was predicted in period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as at that time, this was where price was. And I remember letting you know that we have a structure that suggests that CAD may most likely be strong. And that was what happened in the course of the week. That's why you see that US dollar CAD is most likely going to have sold significantly. So if we go to US dollar CAD, you see how CAD sold off significantly. I was expecting maybe a little pushback before selling, but eventually even so. So I gave that to price reaction. I think I took this trade anyway. Let me see. Yeah. I took this trade. The first one was a sell up to this point. Then when I saw that it's not going to be pulling back, I took another sell from here all the way to this point for this proper count. So I was able to take that sell and profit it at this point. But I didn't take any buy anyway, any buy from that. I just left the market. So I was expecting that it would bounce up from here, but it still broke it a little. So let's look at what the next price action is for this pair. Ultimately, let's first understand what we should expect in the CAD. Now, remember that US dollars may first be strong and then after some time would be weak. And then for this one, I think that it broke out from, it's still within, so it became bullish at a point, but I think we should expect some kind of pullback before you eventually start going up. So let's go to the 4 hours time frame and see what we have there, and also even the higher time frame. Let's look at what we have on a daily time frame. So I think that this is a clear sell structure on the card, and then there's every tendency that we are going to be just pulling up a little and then coming all the way down to this support zone. And so the bullish that you see there was just a pullback on the lower time frame, but the overall structure on the higher time frame shows that it is bearish continuation. So at the very maximum, what I would expect for this pair at the very maximum is that price just move push up a little up to that zone, and then after that we should be looking out for a proper sell-off up or down all the way to this point. But it's not just going to be happening immediately. Remember, this is 4 hours time frame and it's going to be taking quite some time. So that's the overall price direction for the long-term setup. But for the immediate one, we are going to try to, so let me just make this available on the 4 hours only. 1 minute daily, 4 hours. Yeah. Same thing with this. 4 hours only. Yeah. So for this, what I would expect is I think I'm saying something here that looks like price may most likely get to this initial support line. It's not that so strong, but initial support line. And then as at the time that this is happening, that means that you may expect US dollar cards to buy. And then if price gets to this point and then doesn't go down from here. So let me just use this. So if price gets to this point and react and doesn't go down from here, it means that there's every tendency that the card may eventually be strong, and then we'll be looking at this continuation. But if by the time price come all the way down, it pull up a little and then breaks it, then we are going to be going all the way to that low. So for me, what I would expect initially is to watch how price reacts when it gets here. And so it means that we'll first be expecting some weakness on CAD, and then after that, we should then expect whether price is going to be going up or down. So based on that immediate weakness for CAD, let's look at how we're going to be using it to trade US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD right here on the daily time frame. Let's go to the daily time frame. Let me clear this. Yes. So I'm going to take out these two and this also. That was for last week. So I think that let's go to the weekly time frame and see its price action properly. Okay, I can see some strong support line here, and I can also see possibly maybe another one. You can have it here. Okay. So so for me, I think that we are in a bearish trend, as you can see right here. We are in a bearish trend where price got here and then got to this point, and there may just be a little pause, and then we are going to continue that bearish trend, a bearish cycle. But then it's not just going to be happening immediately. We should expect some kind of pullback at some point, especially because price got to a key what do you call it, a key support line on the 4 hours time frame, which it may most likely want to respect. So I would just expect that price will push up a little. To what extent it will push up to is another thing that we need to determine, which is what I'm going to be drawing right here. So for this bearish trend to continue, the maximum that price need to do push back up is get to somewhere around here. And then after that, we're going to be having that completion of that sideways movement for it to then continue going down. So I would say that we are going to be going long first on US dollar CAD, and then after that we should look at going short. So what it means is that CAD will most likely first be weak, and then after that we will look at trend continuation. So if we go back to CAD right now, the CAD index, we can then have a very good understanding of what to expect in the coming week. So since we're expecting that CAD may most likely be weak for some time, I think it is best to assume that this will happen all the way down, possibly because it's a 1 hour time frame, all the way down, possibly to this point. Then after that, we can then look at price. That's looking at US dollar and looking at the CAD being strong later on. But the overall price direction right here shows that CAD is most likely first going to be weak, and then later on will determine the strength. But then, like I said, we need to watch out for this zone. This zone determines whether it's going to be strong or not. But fundamentally speaking, fundamentally speaking, CAD is even based on prediction from the AI, CAD is even bearish, and because there's a contraction in GDP, which confirms slowing economy, and BOC may have a dovish stance. So, um, fundamentally speaking, we have bearish. And then technically speaking too, we have bearish. So we are going to be looking at going long on US dollars CAD in the coming week. So for me, I will be putting my bias for US dollar CAD to buy, which I can change out to some time. Then dollar Swiss. Let's go to let's go to the Swiss francs. So, okay, before we even go to the Swiss franc, let's also use that to have an understanding of what we can expect on the CAD yen. We have looked at US dollar, Japanese yen. We look at US dollar CAD. So now is time to look at the CAD yen. So let's go to the CAD yen and see what to expect CAD yen. So for CAD yen, remember that we are expecting a very strong yen later on in the coming week, and then we are expecting a weak CAD in the overall price direction. So I think on Friday, I was able to take advantage of that sell position where price sold off up to this point. This was my TP zone. And I was expecting that price would bounce off a little from that. I think I also took a buy trade right here um, where price pushed up a little. But as it is, it's not looking any much bullish anymore. What we may most likely expect is price getting up to this area right here, getting up to this area, and then by the time the Japanese yen becomes strong, we should look for a very good sell setup that will take us all the way down to this point where we will determine the next price action. So for me, I'm not going to be looking at the buy. I'm going to be looking at the sell when price gets to that point. So what I want to do right there is to sell CAD yen. So for CAD yen, I'll be looking at selling that sell. Okay. Yeah, so the next one we want to look at is the Swiss francs, and then let's go to the let's go to the index chart to understand what we expect in the coming week. Okay, I think we should first go back into history and look at where we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was where we were as at that time. And I'm not sure what my bias was for this pair. I think I was expecting a little pushback down up to this point before we start having. Most likely, I will have looked at this, maybe a little pushback up before price start going up. But then the overall price direction had been bullish anyway. I will try to go to my previous chart, analysis to look at what was the projection. But for this, based on the big structure, you can see that price went bullish significantly, and then it's just reacting to that zone where it got to. And I was also able to take advantage of this bullish movement right in time. And so what I'm expecting here, let me go to the 4 hours time frame and the especially the higher time frame to see what to expect. Okay, it's much more clearer right now. You have this diagonal structure right here. Okay. So on the daily time frame, we have this. Yeah. So it's looking more likely that we are just going to be having a retest of this zone around here, and then price will continue bearish. So it will be clearer right now on the 1 hour time frame. So this is what I will be expecting in the coming week. Um, Price don't just go down significantly like that. It needs to do a proper confirmation of reversal before then going down, especially when it closes out on a Friday, like close of the session like that. So if price breaks below this line that I've drawn, then we will continue that bearish trend, which I don't see it coming immediately. I feel that there is most likely going to be some kind of pushback up to this point. After that, we will then look at going bearish on it. So for me, I'll be looking at the bullish and Swiss francs up to this point. And then after that, we will then decide the next sell zone. So technically speaking, bullish, let's look at what we have in fundamental. Swiss francs is also bullish, likely to benefit from risk off tone and weak USD post PCE. So for this bullish, and then these two bullish, I think I prefer this, and then bullish. Okay. So based on that, we can look at what we expect on the US dollar Swiss. I don't usually trade, okay, Swiss yen, and also, but I don't usually trade CAD Swiss. So I'm not going to, I don't even have a chart anyway. So they're just going to be looking at US dollar Swiss and then Japanese yen Swiss. So let's look at US dollar Swiss, what we have there. Yeah. So for these two, I think I took a trade right here, around here, where I took a sell, yeah, where I took a sell trade, and then the TP got hit around this point, and then I gave two scenarios: whether price, sell off immediately or push back up and sell. But US dollar was very weak towards Friday, so this push back up didn't even happen. So let me just try to. So for me, I think that let me take this out. For me, I think that what I'll be interested in the US dollar Swiss francs is a sell continuation, sell continuation, sell continuation. Yeah. So from the weekly time frame, you can see we seem to be in a very big picture right here. It seems to be in a very big picture right here. Yeah. Which I think, yeah, I can leave it there. So we may most likely we may most likely want to have a sell-off and want to have a reversal around this zone. So I'll be actually much more interested. Basically, I'll be actually much more interested in a buy position for this, but it looks more like we are going to be having price wars where prices go most likely going to be getting all the way to this zone right here, getting all the way back there, especially because US dollars strength is not still ripe yet. So as at the time that US dollar is weak, you should expect that Swiss francs is going to be selling off. So what I would advise is, yes, there's every tendency that price will bounce up from here, especially, okay, now it's very clear. Um, in before Wednesday, there's every tendency that US dollar may be strong. So as at that time, you may have price coming all the way back to this zone. But if we get back to this zone and you can confirm that from the currency strength meter, you can confirm that US dollar is not going to be getting weak, then we are going to be getting into this trade for a very good sell setup that may most likely break beyond this support line. So for US dollar Swiss, it is bullish. Then after that, bearish. So I'm just going to update this. So we're looking at price getting to somewhere around here. And then after that, we can then look out for a sell. Okay, so for me, for US dollars, I'll first put bullish, that's buy. Then after that, on the coming days, I'll be changing it to sell. And then Swiss yen. So let's go to Swiss yen. For Swiss yen, what do we have right there? Swiss yen, yeah. So because yen may most likely be strong at some point, and also because Swiss may also be strong at some point, I think we are going to be having two strong pairs fighting against themselves. So, and also right now the price action that I can see right here is very tight, very tight. So this is not what I want to trade. The only time I want to trade this is if Swiss francs by chance, get to somewhere around here, then I'm looking out for that sell. But if it gets here, if Swiss francs gets here, if Swiss yen gets here, and then I can see that yen eventually turns bearish, and in which case Swiss francs turn bullish, I want to take that buy setup. But the best one for me is going to be sell. Let me look at the higher time frame and see the price action there. Yeah, so it's even much more clearer on the higher time frame. So this is what you should expect. That means price most likely coming all the way down, but the big picture that will give you that big money is the one that it's going to be coming all the way to this point. So we expect that if Swiss franc gets to this zone back, then we are going to be taking that sell all the way to that level. So Swiss francs, what we want to do is to sell, but it's not going to be selling immediately. I'm not sure it's going to be selling immediately, but what we want to do is to look for the sell setup either from immediately price open, selling off. But when you want to buy, we don't want to be in that buy position. What we want to be looking at basically is a sell position, a sell trade. So for Swiss francs, I would want to sell it. Swiss yen. Yeah. So now the next one right here is pounds. So for pounds, I think for pounds, we have been bullish all this while. Yeah, we have been bullish all this while, but there's every tendency that it may pull back a little before it then goes up. This is the pounds index. Let's go to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we seem to be in a diagonal structure, as you guys can see right here. As you guys can see right here, and price is around the resistance zone. So on the daily time frame, what we have there, prices around this zone, there's every tendency that we just get to around this resistance line and sell off. And then on the 4 hours time frame, on the 4 hours time frame, I think that price will first sell off right here and then go back to retest this resistance area before eventually then do a proper sell off. So on the 1 hour time frame, it's much more clearer here. So what I would expect on Swiss on yen on pound, sorry, is maybe a double top right here and then selling off all the way to this point before we eventually start looking at buy around this point. So for me, I will be expecting a weak pounds, technically speaking, and then fundamentally, what we have in pounds, fundamentally bearish, no need to this week, pure bearish momentum may continue. So yes, in the news that we expect, we don't even have anything relating to pounds this week, except maybe euro, because euro and pounds are quite close. So I would expect a week. I would expect a week. What do you call it? A week. A week pounds. Yeah. So then, technically speaking, too, bearish. So with this, we can look at what we expect in GDP USD, in GDP JPY, GDP CAD, GDP streets. So let's go to GDP USD. GDP USD. Okay. So GDP USD, starting from the weekly time frame. Okay, what I have here, I was expecting that price will sell off, from that point. It didn't sell off. When it got there, it still pushed up a little. So I think I was not able to get a good profit from here. Let me see what happened. Yeah, I think I took a sell around here. Yes, I took a sell around here, and then I closed it out at a small loss around there because I was expecting that price to sell off, but it didn't sell off, which is fine. You can't always get it right all the time. So, but then that sell-off may happen in in this coming week, this week that we are going in. So let's go to the weekly time frame and see what we expect. So on the weekly time frame, we seem to be in a resistance zone. But if pound is going to be strong, for coming days, then we may most likely be looking at the overall resistance, the overall high, initial high around here. But I'm not sure that that is going to be happening anytime soon. At least there still need to be some kind of pullback. So what I'm just going to look at is okay, do we have any pivot level around there? Okay, cool. So we have monthly resistance run around there. So this is what this looks like is going to happen. So on the 1 hour time frame, price had broken out from this. Resistance line. This is no more valid. This is no more valid. So price are broken out from that resistance line. I'm looking at a sell-off, especially when USD becomes strong for the time being. And we know that the overall trend direction for USD right now is bearish. And this is pounds USD. So the strength of USD is just very short. So what we may most likely have to happen right here is that price, coming all the way down to this point to do a retest of the previous resistance line that is now going to be turning support zone. So more like a retest or KYM. So after that, if price gets here and then pauses, then we'll be looking at going long in the after that for a long-term setup. So for me, pounds is going to be bearish for this period, and then after that, we are going to be going bullish, looking at bullish continuation. So in the trade setup, I will expect that GDP USD should sell. Then in the coming week, in the coming days, I will then update it to buy. Yen, pounds, yen. So we're expecting yen to be kind of strong, and then yes, yen, pound, yen to be kind of strong, and then pounds to be a little weak, and then later continue strength. So let's look at what we have in the pounds yen. For pounds yen, yes, I think for this one too, I was able to take a little. Okay, I couldn't. I took this. I was expecting it to flush down immediately, but it didn't happen. It first went up, then flushed down. And it didn't even just flush down here. It flushed down, almost touching this zone. So, which is fine. But then let's look at what we expect in this coming week. Okay. So as at the time that yen is going to be strong, where pounds is going to be weak, we expect that this may most likely happen, a retest of this support line. And then after that, we should expect that price may most likely go up again. So we are in a sideways price correction right here. So just we should just have that at the back of our mind when we are trading um, pounds yen. So in the overall trend direction, this is what we have currently. This is what we have. So let's go to the daily time frame now and see what we have. So there's every tendency that we are still going to be going bullish a little. Price just coming to have a retest here. And then after that, when pound becomes very strong, going all the way to this point, at which time we will then decide how to come all the way down to this zone. So the immediate price direction right here is bearish on the, my expectation is bearish on the pounds yen. Then after that, we are going to be going all bullish. So for pounds yen, still sell. Then after that, we change it to buy. Now for pounds card. For pounds card, I think I was able to take advantage of that too. I think I was able to take advantage of this sell. Was this sell? Yeah, take advantage of that sell and then it closed somewhere around here. But I have not taken a buy yet. So for me, let me go to the weekly time frame and see the price action. But basically, we're expecting that cards may most likely first be weak and then later on become strong. Let's go to the card index and have an understanding. So card first weak, then later on possibly become strong. So, and then pounds first being weak and then later on become strong. So card yen, count pound, pounds cards may most likely be having two strong pairs, fighting against themselves. But after some time, one is going to most likely be weak. And so for this, I think that I may not be interested in taking this trade for now, unless there's pure price direction, unless I have very pure price direction. So what I'm saying is this. I'll be interested in taking a buy for this trade if price hits that point. So this is what I'm going to do. Draw my rectangle right here where price gets here, and then it gives me a buy signal. I'll take that trade. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in that sell because the mixture of pounds and CAD at this point is not so clear. But if it gets to this point, I'll be looking forward to buying it. So I'll just go here and change this one to buy. But then it's buy with caution. So since it's buy with caution, let me just use red for the buy. And pound threes. So for pound threes, I think I took advantage of this too in the week, during the week. I think I took a sell around here. Yeah, I took a sell around there, and then I think it was just a short trade. I didn't really profit well. I was trying to take some sell, auto trade sell 0.5. I took some sell, but I wasn't sure if I was able to take good advantage of this flush down. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did. this gave me some money. But then if we look at it, basically, the structure that we have here, I was expecting that price get here and then go up, but it's most likely looking like it's going to come all the way down to this point. So let me try to remember what we have on the, we already know that pounds will first be weak and then later be strong. But let me look at what we have on the streets index. So for the streets, for streets, right, say we're expecting that price may most likely first go up and then sell off. So when it's going up, it means that streets may most likely first be strong. And so it means that we should expect price extending all the way down to this point. And then after streets become weak and pound becomes strong, then we expect price to then, go all the way up. So for me, I will be expecting a buy around here. I'll be expecting a buy around here. And then most likely as price open, we are going to be having the sell continuation. So we'll be selling around this point. Can look for a sell around here. Can look for a sell around here. Or you can look for a sell around here. Either of it. This is the best one anyway. This is the best one. And then this is just the immediate reaction. But then we are most likely going to come to all this, come all the way down here when pounds is weak and street is strong, and then go all the way back up later on. But if it doesn't start going down immediately, then we want to look for a very good sell opportunity around there. So the overall trade bias for me is a sell on Swiss francs. On pound streets, and then pounds odd. So for pounds odd, okay, before we even go to pound odd, I think the remaining one are related to AUD. So let's go to the odd index and look at what we expect in the coming week. So for odd or Aussie, let's look at the index charts and look at what we should expect in the coming week. Okay. Let's go to history. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think at that point, price was somewhere around here. Okay, I remember what happened then. I had drawn this. Now I told you guys that the price action around here suggests that we may most likely go bearish. But because we are not sure of what price may do, I was saying I was a little neutral about it, that we can first have some kind of push up a little, and then after that have some kind of sell. But I was being careful that it may not go exactly. So I need to watch out for what price action does. But eventually that was what happened anyway. On the 4 hours time frame, when price got here and I could see this trade call that's for a self setup, I was able to take a good sell on pounds odd, Uh, this should be where, yeah, let's look at this trade history. A good sell on pound odd, that should be, was it this? Yeah, giving me a little profit. Yeah, some kind of sell, but I think I closed it out quite early, after which price, went back up, then did the proper sell. So at the point, I was then expecting that price would go up to this point, then do it. Anyway, the price direction is still very much more valid. What we may expect right here is price coming down to this point. That's coming all the way down to this point. Then going up from there. So that should come back. Okay. So should expect this price coming all the way to this point and then going all the way back up. Remember that pounds will first be weak, most likely first be weak, and then after that become strong. And so what we may expect on odd is a very weak odd. So price may push back up a little around this point, then continue selling. So I'm expecting a bearish trend bearish trend on the odd bearish. So since it's bearish, just give it red. Yeah. So this may most likely just appear on the 4 hours time frame only. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So for where we may most likely expect the bearish to start from, yes, they can start from right here, which is where we have a sideways correction that may most likely continue selling downwards, or we are expecting it to push up a little to this point. So there are two zones where it can start getting weak. This is the larger one, and then this is going to be the immediate one. Immediate one being small, and then the larger one being strong and being wide. So for that, I'm expecting for that it confirms what I'm expecting on the pounds odd. So price most likely just coming all the way down to this one, but the overall direction right here is bullish. So I'm looking forward to selling, to buying. I'm looking forward to buying um, this pair. Looking forward to buying that. So yeah. So it's going to first sell, then after that buy. But for me, I'm much more interested in the buy right there. Then AUD USD. You are most likely going to be having AU Australian being strong, being weak, and USD being weak. But well, let's look at what happened there. AUD USD. So for now, this is not the best trade that you want to take because you're most likely going to be having price contraction, price moving sideways on this pair. And so as at the time that USD is very strong, becomes very strong before Wednesday or so, this will happen. This will most likely happen. And then after that, you may have some kind of pullback up and down before price event. So it's just a sideways expectation on this pair. And so I think I'll take the sell, but I'm not going to be looking for a buy for this. I'll just look for a sell trade overall for this, even though US is not going to be that strong, fundamentally speaking. But I won't gamble the buy for AUD USD. Then all yen, which is going to be the second to the last before gold, all yen. So for that, it's most likely also going to be sell. The reason is that we're expecting yen to be strong and then odds to be weak. So that may most likely happen. This was what I was expecting the coming on Friday, which happened. Price got here and then it went up. I was expecting to get to this point. It went up late. So now let me just update my expectation for here. I can see this, and then I can also see this. So for that bigger picture, we should be looking at a sell. Should be looking at a sell. So now we seem to have a proper shoulder pattern that's formed. This is the first, the second, and then this is the head. But then sometimes you may have price coming all the way up before it eventually breaks it. So, but the overall trade bias right here is a sell structure where we are looking at this zone at the initial price level where price will get to and hit. So for me, I'll be looking for a sell around here or an immediate sell when market opens. Either way, I'm looking to sell. I'm looking to sell this pair. So on the 1 hour time frame, this may happen. This may happen, and then this may also happen right here. So in either way, we'll be looking for a sell around this zone if price gets there. Okay. And then we're going to be looking for that sell all the way down to this level. So for me, this is going to most likely be a sell opportunity. Last but not the least is gold. So now let's go to gold and look at what which we'll expect. For gold, is usually inversely correlated to USD. Not all the time though, but most times it's usually inversely correlated to USD. So in the course of the week, I was expecting price to get here and then sell off. So it just, broke out a little, which is what we call the expanded flat correction of the running flat, which is still okay. And so what I'm expecting right here is so now this may most likely not even sell all the way down to this point if USD becomes so weak. So I'll be expecting two levels for gold, which is first around here, if price gets here. First around here, price gets here, to see whether this will happen. To see whether this will happen. But if that doesn't happen, then no, it can also extend here. So it either get here and go up or get here and go up. Either of the two is fine. So it's either from here or from here. But if that doesn't happen, the proper way or the proper place to then look for a buy setup is this area, this zone right here, which is where I'm going to be coloring green. This is the proper way and the proper level to look for buy. And then this is the interim area where we may have some reactions. So, but in any way, the overall price direction right here suggests a bullish bias because we are expecting USD to be weak at some point. So as at the time that USD becomes strong a little, you can have this sell happening. But when US dollars becomes very weak, then we should be looking forward to a buy setup that may most likely take us all the way back to this high or even beyond it. So for me, gold, looking for buy. So it's very going to be sell, but the overall trend direction that I'm looking forward to is buy. So that completes our expectation. Okay, for this one, I'm expecting weak. That's bearish. Let me even look at the expectation for bearish. Calling inflation keeps RS silent, bearish, and then technically speaking, too bearish. Yeah, so that's takes us to the end of this training weekly section, weekly outlook section, and then in the coming days too, if there are changes, I would if I have time, if I'm not some kind of meeting and all that, I'll post the update in the group. But as you can see, currently odd is the strongest and USD is the weakest. We may have the reverse where USD becomes strong and then odd becomes weak. That is on Monday or Tuesday. Then after some time, it changes again. So as it's changing, I'm getting the live update on this model. And then from there, I then go to the index charts to look at price action and then go to the currency to take the trades. All right, guys. See you next week and wishing you a very successful trading week. Bye for now.